of the budding trees. I was gifted new.
Alright, so how have you found the Australian tour so far?
It's been cool, man. Everyone here is really open, you know, to like hearing like different styles of music, you know. I think I get to like have a really good opportunity touring with Xavier and Donovan to kind of like have you know, that unique audience already available to like listen to us. And yeah, it's my second time here, so it's been nice to get to like be with them and like kind of like my older brothers, you know, and like we're like the young kids on the tour. So it's sweet. I'm really feeling lucky and blessed to get to be a part of it.
So as you said, you've toured with Xavier before. How have you found touring with him? Like, what's he like to tour with?
He's classic. He's a legend on many different levels, and he definitely looks out for us, you know. And he's always got some really good stuff to share, wisdom, and like definitely always helps us to like kind of like root down and bring us back to the fire and take us back to the ocean wherever we can get there, you know. So it's been cool, man.
So I was at the show last night, and I've never really seen anything like your performance before. What can people maybe coming tonight expect from the show?
Well, it'll be different than tomorrow night. We're gonna play some different songs for sure. But yeah, it's just kind of like, it's really, you know, we're really like personal people, so we really like connecting with our crowd. And you know, we're kind of like the exchange, you know, between like what we give out and what you give back to us is really like, it's like what we do it for, really, you know. So it's just it's high energy, and it's definitely like fun, you know, because we're having fun up there. And so I feel like when we were, you know, sometimes you watch bands and they're just kind of like sitting around and playing, you know, or they've got a really structured way of doing it, and that can be fun. But I always have way more fun when I see people on stage having fun, you know. So I think that at the end of the day, it's gonna be, you're probably gonna be smiling.
So it feels like there's a real sense of unity between the band and the crowd, like you're saying. Is this something that you guys like to promote?
Definitely. Yeah, it definitely has just kind of come naturally.
Yeah.
And thus, like, kind of defining what medicine for people is, really, you know.
So as you said, you guys came here early in the year. How was your first time here in Australia?
Crazy. I mean, if any place that you go to for the first time, you kind of like get a little bit like wily, you know, just with like how much information there is around the history and around the culture and around the people. Yeah, it was pretty gnarly, like not in a bad way, like in a really good way, you know.
Yeah.
And I had a pretty like intense connection with the land here and like with a lot of the folks that I was meeting, you know. And that's when I met Xavier when I was here last time too. So kind of just all unfolded in a really cool way.
So I guess you're like in the early stages of reaching out to the Australian fans. How would you describe your sound to people that maybe haven't heard you yet?
Crazy. It's like, you know, it's like a lot of acoustic instruments. I mean, Chase plays a 12-string electric acoustic guitar, and then I play acoustic guitar, and Hope plays acoustic drums, like djembe and cajon, and we have a bass, you know, and so electric bass. But yeah, it's you know, it's like, it's folk music, it's kind of rock music, it's kind of reggae, it's kind of like a little bit of everything, you know. So I would just say expect to like kind of like hear a couple different genres in it, but a nice like solid sound to it, yeah.
So you have a really positive message with your music. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, I think that I think overall it's pretty positive. Yeah, I think that it's kind of just like informational too. Like a lot of them are personal stories for me, and then I think they're kind of like all, you know, I wrote them as like to tell my story, but also like for my personal prayers to like, I'd like to be like this, or I hope that I can be like more compassionate, or I pray for be more forgiving, you know, stuff like that, so that I could, you know, when I sing them over and over again, it's like it helps me like, you know, do that more. So yeah, I think that we definitely promote like positive thinking and like forward thinking and empowerment and like activation and like your own shit. Did I say shit? I said shit.
So you grew up around many different cultures. Do you think that helps shape the way you perform and write music today?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, when you learn to identify yourself as whatever you choose, it really defines, you know, like how you walk in the world. And so yeah, as I learn to to identify myself as I do, with all the cultures that I've been raised through and have a part of, it really comes through the music a lot in that way, you know. It's based on the question.
So like, did that just help shape, I guess, the music that you're writing today? So
Yeah. So it definitely did, for sure, in big ways. Still does.
So can you tell us a bit about Dark as the Night?
So yeah, Dark as Night's our second record, and it's really fun to record. I put a lot of like thought, I guess, into this one as opposed to the last one I did. Not that I didn't put a lot of thought into the first one, but I was kind of like, I'd never recorded music before, so I was kind of like just going for it. Like I had like 50 people in the studio, like doing crazy stuff, you know. But this one was cool. It was like really like reined in, and like I had a lot more of a vision for it. I knew how the stories I wanted to be told, and I knew I wanted to go like a certain direction with the sound of them, and because they're pretty close to how we play them live, but you know, they're not the same. I almost had a sneeze. Oh, it's still kind of there. Okay.
It's the worst.
I wanted it to come out. But I'm stoked on it, and it's cool because like music's so powerful. It's really cool to watch it, like, you know, travel, and you don't have to actually be there to watch it inspire people. And so it just blows my mind how far you know, stuff travels these days, and how you can like get a hold of something that's like kind of underground, but like at the same time becoming, you know, taking on like a more mainstream like direction. So it's cool. I'm really happy with the record. We just released it here in Australia like last weekend. So it's cool. I'm stoked to have it available here, and like feel like this is another home for us in a big way.
Have you heard much of a response from the Australian people from the record?
Yeah, everyone seems pretty. Yeah, it's usually always, you know, pretty positive feedback. We don't have a lot of old fans here, so not a lot of people actually know what we sounded like before.
Yeah.
So it's cool, you know, we're building bridges here, and like I think everyone's getting what we're doing, getting what we're dosing. You know?
So can you tell us about the Budding Trees music video?
Yeah, that was fun. Wasn't really necessarily what I thought I would do with it, but it was really cool to like invite like all our community to kind of like make their own video and turn it in, which is a cool way, you know, to kind of like rein everyone in, because it's like it's a story about, you know, like shifting out of relationships and like and not holding on to like jealousy and being angry for whatever reason, you know, and like being able to like see different phases happen and like be able to like move through them gracefully. And so yeah, everyone kind of like understands that, because we all like, you know, have deep relationships with people and move through them and move on. And so it was cool to see how like creative people got, you know, like, and did their own like video and stuff. So it was sweet.
So can you tell us a bit about the Medicine Tribe?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, like, the definition of Medicine Tribe really is, we just started a record label called Medicine Tribe Records.
Yeah.
And so the label itself is pretty much like small. It's gonna be us, and then we're bringing on a couple other people pretty soon here. One of them being our bass player, Dustin Thomas. He's an amazing singer-songwriter too. And but yeah, it's like, you know, the whole mentality around it is like we're creating through the music, you know, through like having this. Like I grew up in a pretty different style of family, so I feel like it's just a reflection for me to like create what I'm doing with Medicine Tribe, because reining in like people who feel like they don't have a home, or people who feel like they are a little displaced from their families, or like the vagabond culture, the vagrant culture, you know, like you know, kids from all scenes that like feel like, you know, they don't have a place sometimes, you know. And so I guess it's just reining in tribe, really, like from all walks of life, and reining them in to make them like feel like they have like a fam, and that it's like you're a part of something special, you know. It's like a movement, you know, to bring back music to a place of like of rawness and fierceness and like and real honesty, you know.
So do you feel like that type of thing really brings your fans together?
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, I've seen it firsthand. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak to us today, and good luck with the show tonight.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sunset diamonds trickle down our cheeks.